All right, guys, here's 11 through 15. Let's find the slopes of these two lines. We want to know if they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So let's get to a sketch here so I can write on it. And so parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Parallel means same slopes. Perpendicular we know is opposite and reciprocal. And if it's not any of those two, we know it's neither. So let's look for the slopes here. There is a formula that we like to use. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, or just y minus y. You can start wherever you want. If I start in the front and I do 5 minus 2, and then I have to start in the front here and I do 6 minus 4, that's going to give you a 3/2 slope. So that's the slope for line 1. Line 2 slope, you're going to do -1 minus 8, and you're going to do -8 minus -2. So be careful of the double negatives. We know it's always a minus in the formula, and if the number's negative, then you're going to get a double negative. So let's see, we would get -9 on top, we would get -6, and if you were to reduce those, you would get a 3/2 slope. It'd be positive, and it would be a 3/2, and this one is also a 3/2, so you're looking at parallel for those two lines. So those two are parallel. 11 parallel. Okay, when you get to 12, which of these lines are parallel, which are perpendicular, and select the statements that are true. So we just need to find the slopes of each line. So you're going to need 4 slopes. Shouldn't take us too long to find 4 slopes. Okay, so let's do y minus y here. So -4 minus -7, and then x minus x, 2 minus 14. Making these pluses, I would get a 3, and that's going to be a -12. So you're looking at a -1/4 slope when you reduce it. Divide them by 3, and they're different signs, so it's negative. Line B, you're going to have 10 minus 2. And then you're going to have -1 minus 1. So you're looking at an 8. And then over a -2, which is a -4 slope. -4 slope. And then this one down here, you're looking at a -5 minus -9. And you're looking at a -6 minus -5. Double negatives on both of those. So that's going to be a +4 on top and -1 on the bottom. That's going to give you a -4 slope. So I already see some parallel ones here. So we'll go through them in a second. Let's do this last one right here. 0 minus -3. That's a double negative. 0 minus -3. 2 minus -10. Those are another double negatives. So you're going to get 3/12, which is going to reduce to 1/4. Okay, let me move that. So that's going to be 1/4. Okay, so that is going to be perpendicular to the -4. So we have parallel here. Parallel, so that would be lines B and C are parallel. So B and C are parallel. And 1/4 is perpendicular to B and perpendicular to C. So D is perpendicular to B. D is perpendicular to B, and D is perpendicular to C also. So those are your 3 dots. B is parallel to C. This -1/4 is neither to anything. It's not the same as +1/4, and it's not opposite signs to the other one. So line A is nothing to the other 3, but you have this one, you have this one, and then you had B and C were parallel. So that was 12. Write an equation of a line passing through the point and going with that parallel to that line. So we need the same slope. So first we should find this slope, negative 5x. So we get 2y equals negative 5x plus 12. And then if you divide everything by 2, y would equal negative 5 halves x plus 6. So this is my slope. And we need parallel. So my new slope is also negative 5 halves. Parallel is same. So what I need to do is to take this slope and plug it into the y minus y1 equals mx minus x1 formula, the point slope form. Here's my x1 and my y1. So it's going to be y minus, the y1 number is a 3. My new slope was negative 5 halves. X minus my x number is a negative 10. I would make those pluses. Distribute. Y minus 3 equals negative 5 halves x. The 2 is going to go into there 5 times. Negative 5 times positive 5 is negative 25. Let's add 3 to both sides. Y equals negative 5 halves x. And then we had a negative 25 and a positive 3. That's going to give us a negative 22. So negative 5 halves x minus 22 is your answer to 13. So they actually gave us negative 5 half x minus 22. So in here is going to be a negative fraction 5 over 2 and then plus, and it was a negative 22 in there in the back. Pretty sure that's what I had on there, hopefully. And that was not the right one. We need that one. So negative 5 over 2, and then my negative 22. I think it was negative 22. You guys have it written down. It might be positive 22. No, I think it was negative 22. Okay, so this one is perpendicular. So we want to get rid of this. Okay, so now we want perpendicular. So that's a little different. Okay, so we need a perpendicular line. Okay, if I could get the screen to work, that would be great. And there we go. Okay, a perpendicular line has the opposite reciprocal. So first we need to find the slope. Minus 5x. So 3y equals negative 5x plus 15. Divide everything by 3. So we got negative 5/3 x plus 5. So there is your slope. So my perpendicular new slope is going to be a positive 3/5. Okay, so that's what I'm going to plug into the y minus. The y1 number is a 1. And then my new slope is 3/5. And then we're going to do x minus the x number is a 5. So this is my x1 number. So let's distribute. Y minus 1 equals 3/5 x. The 5's will cancel. It'll just be minus 3. And then we're going to add 1. So 3/5 x minus 2. 3/5 x because it's a opposite reciprocal slope to this one. Okay, so opposite and reciprocal. And then the new b is negative 2. So it's positive 3/5 x minus 2. So in this box right here, you're going to have 3/5, and then you're going to have a minus 2. 15. The measure of angle 1 is greater than 98. Okay, and at most 118. Graph the possible values. Okay, so it looks to me like we need to set up an equation where we have 10x plus 8 cannot be more than 118, so it has to be less than 118. At most is less than. Greater than 98, but we're going to go on the other side. Greater than 98. Oh, no, not greater than, sorry. Whoops. Greater than 98. So this 10x plus 8 is the bigger one, and then 98. So it's opening up to the 10x minus 8. So we want to solve both of these. So we're going to get 90 and 110. And when you divide everything by 10, you're going to get a 9x11. So we got to do 2 open circles. Whoops, 2 open circles. We got to use that guy. And we got to go between 9 and 11. So let me do that on the graph here. So I hit the 2 open circles. I don't know if it's going to let me drag it up there. Oh, it did. Okay, and open to there. So open circle at 9, open circle at 11, because it's got to be greater than 98. It's got to be at most 118. Oh, wait, at most. At most. Okay, at most it could be equal to. Sorry, hold on. So we want to get rid of that guy. We want to go open closed. That's what we want. We want to close it there. At most would be less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. Sorry, so make sure you get that. All right, there's a 15.